Hello everybody, welcome on June 27th, 2011. It's Bill Bing here to talk about mouthpieces. And mouthpieces are something that can be really wonderful, or they can be not so wonderful. And there are people that know much more about mouthpieces than I do. I will tell you that the mouthpiece I have been using for the last 10 years is one that I tried out one day, I think when Roy Proper brought it over, and I think he had gotten it from Boyd Hood. Fortunately, there are many people in Los Angeles who know much more about mouthpieces than I do, and I go to them for their help. In particular, Bob Reeves. He is one of the gurus. And there are other great players in Los Angeles that know a lot about mouthpieces. John Lewis is a wonderful studio artist here in Los Angeles, and he worked for Marcinkowitz for a while before branching out on his own. So not only is he a great player, but he also knows a lot about mouthpieces. The same with Boyd Hood, and there are many others, I'm sure. But my particular situation with mouthpieces is over the course of time, like most other trumpet players, I have collected a great assemblage of mouthpieces. They're all in this box here. And for example, here's a Benge, a Stork mouthpiece, an Olds mouthpiece. I have Bush mouthpieces. I have this wonderful wooden mouthpiece that Don Green was playing for a while, and they work well. I did an experiment with a wooden mouthpiece. I teach at the California Institute of Technology also, where I'm the director of bands, and have been for many years, and it's been a wonderful job because it's a part-time job which allows me to also teach and play the trumpet. So I, many years ago, took in a wooden mouthpiece and checked on the readings of the overtones of the wooden mouthpiece and discovered that the upper partials were not as pronounced on the wooden mouthpiece as they were on a regular mouthpiece. So that's just a little bit of insight into different types of materials used for mouthpieces. And of course, I think the thing that makes the biggest difference in the mouthpiece is for me, the things that I look for are the cup depth, the width of the interior, also the rim has to be the right shape, not too flat, I don't want it too rounded. Also the bite of the mouthpiece. These are all things that you can look up on the internet. I'm sure there are people that are going to be talking about it and give you better sense of what each individual function is within the mouthpiece itself. I'm sure there's mouthpiece manufacturers out there that are wonderful and have great websites where they talk about these kinds of things. The mouthpiece I've been using for many years is it's a 1X rim, a B1X cup, a 22 throat, and a 76 back bore. And they combine in a nicely balanced mouthpiece, that is the cup, the depth of the cup, the throat, etc., to work well for me. And I think the most important thing to know about a mouthpiece is, do you get the kind of sound that you're looking for on the mouthpiece? Because if you can't get help from the mouthpiece in achieving the kind of sound that you want on the trumpet, you're going to be trying to do it with your chops. And that has to be done in any case to a certain extent, but the mouthpiece can help you get there. So the mouthpiece that I use helps me achieve the kind of sound that I want. Of course, there's so many different kinds of trumpet sounds, everything from a Chet Baker to a Phil Smith to a Clifford Brown. These are all great players with different sounds, and the mouthpiece that they are using no doubt helps them to achieve the kind of sound that they're looking for. So for me, the mouthpiece has to help me with the sound, and in addition to which it gives me the kind of flexibility that I'm looking for. It gives me the kind of articulation that I'm hoping to get, and it also gives me the flexibility, articulation, the comfort. The rim is pretty critical, from what I understand, for having comfort. So my advice is to find somebody that knows a lot about mouthpieces, go on the internet, to a private teacher in your area, and talk to them about what might be a good mouthpiece for you. I usually, when I go to a performance or a gig, I usually carry 2 or 3 mouthpieces with me. I remember Gatala, I think, had a mouthpiece belt, so he could quickly change mouthpieces, even in a performance. and so I carry this mouthpiece with me, but I also have another mouthpiece which is a bit shallower. It's basically the same mouthpiece. Instead of a B cup, it's a D cup. And then I really like also the Bob Reeves C to J mouthpiece. It's a very nice kind of a conical shaped mouthpiece, almost in the French horn genre. And the intonation is very good. It just darkens the sound a lot. So if I'm doing a piece with chorus or some piece that requires that an even darker sound, it's maybe a poor man's rotary instrument, but it works well. There are all kinds of mouthpieces out there that can help you. The Bobby Shoe lead mouthpieces. I know a lot of trumpet players play lead. You really like that mouthpiece. For me, it's too shallow. I think I could probably work into it. I remember Andrea Toffanelli was visiting here one time, and his mouthpiece was really unique. It's a great sound Andrea gets, but a wonderful trumpet player and a person. And I think he told me, he said it took a while for him to work into the mouthpiece, but he knew that's the mouthpiece that he wanted to use, and it sure works great, doesn't it? So a mouthpiece usually will work well when you try it out, but it's not necessarily going to work well for all the purposes that you have in mind. And so I recommend, if you're not particularly happy with a mouthpiece that you or the way you're playing, you can't obviously go to the mouthpiece and expect wonderful results. All of a sudden you're going to be the world's greatest trumpet player. But you can perhaps get some assistance in achieving the kinds of goals that you have on the instrument. So I hope this talk has been helpful. And again, as far as mouthpieces go, get some help if you're not sure which mouthpiece you want to use, and go for the sound. That's my recommendation, is get the sound you want, and then work on the other parameters as far as the rim, the depth, etc. They're all associated. And I hope this has been helpful, and that you're having a great day playing your trumpet, and look forward to hopefully getting together with you again on the internet. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.